Hi guys, I'm one of your mentors, Emma Colburn. I just wanted to say hi to you really quickly and post a little video for you to introduce myself. I found that sometimes posting video content is a really nice way to start to introduce myself to you guys, which is a group of online people that I probably won't see face to face, or if I do, I might not know you're actually in my mentor session. So I like to just take a moment to introduce myself to you guys in person. So my name is Emma Colburn. I'm one of your two mentors for popular culture. Rachel is the other mentor, and we're going to be kind of co-facilitating the discussion boards this term, and then we will also be individually responsible for, each of us is individually going to be supporting half of you. So make sure you check out the Mentor Shell class rosters that we've posted so that you can find which one of us is your technically official mentor, but we're both there to support you. But if you have like particular questions or need particular support through email, you can make sure to contact the one of us that's particularly assigned to you. So a little bit more about me. I'm in a 3-year MFA program, so I'm getting a Master's of Fine Arts in a branch of contemporary art called Social Practice. So I'm entering my 3rd year in that program. And I think I have at the end of my email, like when I email you, there's a little link to my website if you want to check that out to find a little bit more about what I'm up to. But I'm interested in time and space and using different ways of different methods of documentation to explore those things. So right now I'm actually here taking a selfie video at a place called Fort Clatsop, which is right kind of adjacent to Astoria on the Oregon coast, and Fort Clatsop is the place where the Lewis and Clark exhibition ended in 1806, and they wintered over here for a couple months before going back to St. Louis, Missouri. So we're here at this historic recreation of the site. I'm going to give you a little tour in a minute, but one of the reasons why I'm taking this video here for you is because in a couple weeks we're going to be talking about selfie culture. And so I think one of the things that's really interesting about our course together this term is that we are studying something, popular culture, that we also create. So I don't know if any of you have ever taken or posted selfies, but I think it's a pretty common phenomenon at this point. And so we're going to have the opportunity to kind of think more deeply or intellectually about something that we do for fun or do with our friends or do in our everyday life. So this video is just an example of one way that we can think a little bit, like use some of our personal interests, like we might think it's fun to take selfies or something, but that can also be the entry point for like more academic conversations. So for example, one of my interests is actually historic monuments and the selfie culture around historic monuments, because a lot of times people go to places like this historic reenactment of Fort Clatsop in order to, I'm just kind of giving you a 360 right now so you can get a feel for what it looks like. That's my son running around, by the way. So a lot of times people come to places like this to have an experience and they maybe even take a selfie. And there's a way in which they're looking into the past by being here and kind of getting a feel for what it might have looked like when Lewis and Clark and the other people in their exhibition, York and Sacagawea, and I think it was actually over like almost 30 people that were part of that whole exhibition. But so people might come here to kind of get a feel for what that might have been looking like. But then when they take this selfie, they're kind of at that point it's not just a look into the past, it's also capturing the present moment and kind of capturing their body or in in that history and maybe even performing that history through their bodies. So, for example, something that I think about for myself, because my parents, my grandparents, and my grandparents' grandparents came out to Oregon kind of on the Oregon Trail, not all the way, because it was, they didn't like come out in a wagon or something, but they did come out. This is my grandparents, my grandfather's parents came out to the Willamette Valley in around 1905, something like that, 1906, maybe even like 1915, somewhere in there, right around the beginning of the 20th century, and they came out from Iowa, and they didn't take a wagon, as I said. This is my son. You want to say hi? Okay. They didn't take a wagon. I think they probably took the train, but they did come to kind of start not start a new life, but just find another opportunity for themselves. And so that's something that I think about, because I feel like that kind of, they were also German American, and yeah, so that kind of heritage of European Americans coming west to Oregon, and specifically the Willamette Valley, is definitely a part of the reason why I'm in Portland today. And also I think about that. Okay, you can say that. I can think about that when I come to a place like this.
Bye.
He's really interested in talking about all sorts of things. So what was I saying? Anyways, I think about that when I come to a tourist attraction like this, that is kind of commemorating European American arrival in Oregon, and kind of with a celebratory aspect to that commemoration, and then how my body, which performs whiteness or performs European Americanness, kind of adds to that, like, adds to that legacy, especially when I snap a selfie and post that for my friends. It feels like there's more beneath the surface than just like creating some interesting Instagram content. There's also, I'm kind of like, there's a history that I'm performing. So I don't know if any of that makes any sense, but I just wanted to give you guys an example of some of the ways that I think about popular culture, things that I use in my everyday life, but I can also like see it from a historical or academic perspective as well. And I think that that's kind of one of the goals of this course, is to think a little bit more deeply about some of the popular culture items that we are using, like Instagram, but also creating. So this kind of idea of the feedback loop, Guy Debord, like the Society of the Spectacle, the idea that the people consuming the content of like a television program, or now Instagram or something like that, and people creating that content are also consuming it at the same time, and it's kind of creating its own feedback loop or cycle. And that's one of the things I think is really interesting about this class, because you guys are studying popular culture at the same time that you're creating it. And so I welcome, any reflections to anything that I've said. Feel free to post a reply or anything like that. We'll also be doing weekly discussion board questions. Rachel and I will be developing, and then we will be you guys will have a chance to respond to those questions. And the questions are basically aimed at, they're coming from the readings that you will have done that week, but then they're aimed at kind of getting you to think more critically about the reading, or relate it to your life or your personal experience, or engage with your peer group. Okay, you've said that like twice already.
Bye.
Getting you to engage with it on a different level. So, I know that's like almost a 10-minute video. If you made it through the whole thing, great job. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to meeting you more and talking in the future. This is what I look like without glasses. Okay, bye.